Mike Gilling, Crash.
Hi there, Mike.
Hey, Crash. Well,
Hey.
we got a good one for them today. Remember, each and every podcast we've been doing is a path, is a direction into exposing everything that's going on. Michelle Moore is a bigger domino than you understand. Now, I gave you Michelle Moore. We did in our recent podcast that got Michelle Moore setting me up in Arizona and and then working with Flint. But let's take this from the perspective of what's going on right now and false prophets. Listen, these podcasters are all been lying to you. CIA, Flynn, and Michelle Moore is at the top of the list. We're going to go over some of that just so you know. And the fact that they're using faith as another trigger to steal your money. Now, now we're going to go over some of this so you understand, and with evidence, and you understand what's going to happen with this economy. And I'm going to talk about, in fact, Crash, sorry. uh, why don't we show that with the Great Recession, the last piece I gave to you? We were going to insert this. This is why the importance of what they're not telling you. I am going to be doing a podcast with Crash on the economy. But I want you to understand the urgency of what you're dealing with. Did you see when they cut rates? What happened to the 10-year bond? Uh-oh, it went up. Rates went up. Not what you expected. Exactly what I told you. Credit scores dropped to the fastest pace since the Great Recession. Okay, you can take that down, Crash. Do you know what that means? No, those credit scoring. Mortgage rates, car rates, credit card rates, student loans. What if I told you at record highs, at record delinquencies across the board? That's you, folks. That's Main Street. At the same time, Wall Street's hitting record highs. That's what they stole from you. The tariffs is to make up the money they stole from you. You see this? And you're seeing the results. Why aren't they telling you you're bankrupt? Why aren't they telling you you're at the worst credit risk, job creation risk? They lied to you by a million jobs in the last 10 months. We are headed for a disaster. When I caught FRM, the Ponzi scheme, it was 2008 that it went in the tank. Madoff went in the tank the same week. You know why? Because the bottom started falling out and they got uncovered from the real estate fall. You don't think this real estate's going to fall? For 35 years, that's who I was. It's who I still am, reading these signs. What made me a forecaster then is what saw this corruption, is why I built the Pandora's box. Why? Because I told you they were stealing your money. Everything that I warned you of, this is the product they're after. You're broke, they're rich, and they're not telling you. Okay. Which
And
which
that's what scares me. No one's really telling us the truth.
no one. I am telling you no one. Because and listen, I could see it. 2019, you had a reverse yield curve. That was telling you inflation. Instead of cutting rates and raising rates, they cut them. Instead of turning around and what they did was they printed money. In 2021, they printed more money in the history of this country. Why? They were hiding, disguising the fact that you were in trouble. You are in trouble and from theft. That was Medicaid fraud connected to the cartels. That was everything that I warned is here. Now I've got to warn you about these wolves in sheep clothing, these prophets. I want to expose them. And listen, Michelle Moore is that. And understand this is a domino. You get her, you get the Flynn CIA connection, and I'll make that connection here because that's who she is. That's who, you know what? She gave my location up to two CIA agents that met me in Arizona to probe how I figured out the broker convention. Everything went back to her. That's why there's no content. But Mark Taylor, in his prophecies? Well, did you ever look at this guy? If you haven't, we're going to help you with that.
I have.
Now, you know, I want you to look at, if you don't think they use faith, hit that number one there. There you go. He's going to give you Bible stories, right? I mean, that looks pretty angelic. And he's a piece of shit. All right?
And
This guy tried to flip me for months.
just so you know, that Delora O'Brien, a lot of people, she's another false prophet, as far as I think people are saying. So she's part of that.
All part of it. Listen, it's a way into your pocketbook. All right. So let's take a closer look at Mark Taylor and his prophecies. All right, hit it, Crash. Now I'm going to try to read it from my tablet. Try to make it as big as possible, but incorrect prophecy. Listen, me and AI are getting along. According to AI, right? All these things that I told you about O'Keefe and Flynn intercepting and Howley and Lullen. And you know what they said? It's impossible to happen by accident. Just like I told you. Remember I said keep doing the math? Well, I'm having them do the math for me. That's another show. Okay. Mark Taylor, a retired firefighter. She always says Lieutenant Mark Taylor, a self-proclaimed prophet, the best kind. Ready? I'm a prophet.
And Mike, real quick, I can't find evidence, not that it matters, but I can't find evidence he was actually a lieutenant firefighter. He was just a firefighter who one day became a prophet. It doesn't happen that way, in my opinion. But I don't, see, these people put like a title in front of, like Dr. Charlie Ward or Dr.
Right.
Lieutenant that. And it makes people think, oh, they're credible. But you know what? I don't even think he was, I can't, short of going to the actual fire company to ask for records, I don't see that he was, but that's just something.
And you know what? If he's a firefighter, fine. And you know what?
Right.
Good for the firefighters. But the point is, he's self-proclaimed prophet. Let's take a look at this. He gained prominence in the 2011 Commander-in-Chief prophecies predicted Donald Trump's president. Wow. In 11, including Christian theologians, commentators to label false prophet. Oh, wait a minute now. Let's see what happened. He said in 11 that in 2012, Trump would be president. Not 2016. What do we get, a do-over?
That's what he did.
What? He's talking to God. What is God make? Hey, never mind. Is God wrong? Let me see. Taylor claimed God told him Trump would become president in 2012, ending Barack Obama's term early. He shared this with 2016 True News interviews, retroactively adjusting after Trump's 2016 run. Adjusting. Hey, listen, this is AI. They're not turning and embellishing. They're giving it to you straight. That's like we are. He said 12 and he was 16 and he had a redo. Well, let's keep going. Any more redos? Well, gee, there it is. Obama serves a third term. Whoa. Did that happen? I don't remember him serving a third one. And this was circa 2016, a part of the broader prophecies. Now, listen. He said in 11 that Trump was going to be president in 12. He readjusted and said now 16. But when he prophesied in that same 2016 that Obama's going to serve a third term, now how did that work?
Right.
I mean, either Trump's in or he's out. Obama's president or not. I mean, you know what? The racetrack. There's a guy, there's shills that take bets from people. They turn around and say, hey, I'm going to give you a tip. There's 6 horses in the race. They give the tip to 6 people. They go to the one that win and say, hey, pay me. Like that. Okay, so in other words, we do realize that Obama didn't serve a different term. But he's still talking to God. Republican red tsunami in 2018 midterms. Well, how about that? That was a pretty healthy prediction, considering everybody was thinking it.
Right.
I mean, and God got it wrong. Taylor predicted a massive Republican victory with the GOP not only retaining by dominating the House and the Senate in a red tsunami. His words. Well, we found out that's full of shit too now, didn't it? So, I mean, what's this guy's report card? All right, let's go. Ready? Another prophecy. Hillary Clinton arrested and tried for treason. Oh, man. 2016 to 2018 in interviews and writings. Well, let's see how that worked out. Taylor prophesied that Hillary Clinton would be arrested and tried and convicted for treasonous acts, especially tied to her email scandal and alleged corruption as a sign of divine justice during Trump's presidency. Divine justice? He ain't put anybody in jail but Maxwell, and she's on her way out. How's that for divine? But you keep buying books. You keep tuning in, Michelle. This guy, Taylor, is her mentor. The only content is his bullshit and her bullshit, and they're both talking to God. Mass arrest, political elites, the cabal. Kaboom! Well, wait a minute. 2017 to 2020, multiple statements, including True News and YouTube. Taylor claimed a sweeping purge of the globist cabal, politicians, media, and elites would occur under Trump's under Trump, with public arrests, exposing corruption, often tied to QAnon and adjustment narratives. Those are the other flipping son of a bitches. Listen, if you can read this, well, it reads that way. And you can read it that way. Shut up. This babbling bullshit. It's common sense. Listen, I've told you what was happening. I'm not telling you Jesus is telling me. I'm telling you it's common sense in math. 20 years of it. That's the thing about being right.
I was going to say there, Mike, before you said it, it sounds like the Q people, like, the same I guess rhetoric, if you want to call it that, the same things we as in I was Q, we said it. So
100%. Well, think about it. The thing with these podcasters, how many of them were decoders? Hey, listen, this script keeper, he's a decoder. Are you shitting me? He'll decode your checkbook. and KFC and the MG. Shut up. And they all believe in God. Really? And ripping your ass off at the same sentence. Well, let's see. Global collapse. Taylor predicted that Trump's presidency would prevent a global collapse in the United States economy, becoming divine and a beacon of stability. Oh, did I tell you what kind of shithole we're in? The fact that we're broke. How divine is that? Again, this guy couldn't be more wrong. Drawn from analysis. Okay. So can we say that Houston, we have a problem with profits for profit, right? And this is Michelle's mentor, her words.
And Mike, I didn't look it up, the verse, but what does the Bible say about when God speaks to you and it does not come to pass? You're not a prophet.
Right.
Now, and I want to also point out, Mark Taylor, back in 16 or 12 or whenever, it was early, before 15, he was calling himself a prophet, the prophet firefighter prophet. Now,
yes,
he's changed his tune since things have been not going his way, and he calls himself a prophetic voice now.
Prophetic.
I'm like, what's the difference? I mean, you're getting God's message. You got to speak what God's words are.
It's his report cards are different. People just might be watching.
He's created a loophole to get out of his, bullshit.
Right. They're all loopholes. But again now, the wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay. Hit it, Crash. So let's get now you understand Taylor. Let's see what they're doing to you. Oh, I know. There's Michelle Moore. Look at what she's pitching. Now you ready? Godly Granny. Multi-marketing. I'm going to show you a post right after that in a second. I think it's next. We got Wave Watch. Did she tell you it was under investigation with the FDA? Slipped her mind. Universal Golden Coin. Wait for what we got to show you next. Did you know she was connected with Rumble, who went with the contracts with her, lined her up with the gold company. So Rumble's running around with these gold companies making deals with these podcasters. Do you know she's getting double than she got before? And guess what? If you buy gold again, she gets paid again. Multi-level marketing and multi-level payment. So anything you do, if you sort of all of a sudden, how the market's starting to crash, you got to turn around and reach out to your 401k to survive. You're going to find out half of it's gone by
So,
her and
so,
her gold company.
so you're saying that if I buy gold from her as a customer or as a client, whatever, and then I continue to buy later down the road, she still gets a kickback, right?
She gets paid every time.
Every time I buy. Okay.
She owns you as a customer with that gold
Okay.
contract, and that is under contract. She keeps getting paid. Godly Granny, she keeps hiring. She keeps getting paid. Wave Watch is connected to. Remember, I said Wave Watch. Jaco and Kevin Hoyt was
Yeah.
working under her. Well,
Right.
they're going to come into play a little bit in a second. So pay attention to that.
And she told us this stuff before she flipped on us. So that's how we know,
Right.
you know.
Right. So now I knew because I turned around and told her. In fact, I had a Wednesday show, just myself. She didn't know. And I was telling them about gold, Patriot Underground, gold, that these people were going to get ripped off. And listen, I called out Ponzi schemes because I seen the economy collapsing, and I'm telling you, that's where we are. Worse, because in 2008, all you had was really the real estate market collapse. The economy was still holding on. It started sinking because of that, but not like this. This is going to be worse. Okay. All right, hit it, Crash. Now, the Godly Granny thing, you're going to see this. She's out there soliciting for these people to act as affiliate program. Yes, we do. You know what? The people asking are the people that are working for her. It's all bullshit. That's pretty much what you're seeing in the live comments. That's it. And when you start looking at these comments, what are they doing? Getting 7, 8,000? Listen, they sit on me. They can't get this out. The rest of them are falling into the toilet. But we're going to go on. Okay. Well, let's see. Michelle Moore, selling, right? Gold. Let's hit the next screen. Well, it's funny. You know who turns around and warns you about gold? Let me make it Let me see. Let me make it easy for you. You want to know who a grifter is? Anyone selling gold, period. These so-called truthers ignore the fact the affiliate to unregulated metals company that takes 50 to 60% from people, life savings. And this guy's an asshole. And you know what he is? CIA. You know why he said that? Because the CIA is telling him, you know what? This is where it crashes. When all of a sudden, gold's record highs, there's debate. They're reeling you in now. And then all of a sudden, you're going to need your money. You're going to go, well, you can't have it. We got these fees. And we're going to go on about those fees and those prepayment penalties. Have you ever heard Michelle say about the prepayment penalties and the fees?
No.
She's got people calling her, sending her emails and letters, breaking her heart how they're losing their money. She didn't tell you that, now did she? None of them do. Okay, well, let's take a look at Elvire again, seeing he's being noble. He's just putting the way out. And there's Elvire with Michelle, who tried to do a movie of me and get me smoked. And then back to the same guy connected to Matthew Tuccaroni in Arizona and the bait with that Nikki Klein. I mean, that's who he is. Now, when I confronted Michelle, remember she had a problem with me saying that I told her this is who this guy was? No, he's not. No, he's not. And that was the issue. And I said, if I can't tell the people, then I'm out. Well, guess what? Like a day later, I now have proof that Ariel knows Elvire is CIA. What? The guy I'm going after, the guy I called CIA, now she's saying she's got proof, right? He's not a Fed, he's CIA asset. Oh, he's being very direct about it. And if you remember, this might be a good time for that, with the text messages from Elvire to me saying that he was hired by Boone Cutler and working with General Flynn, Black Ops. Okay? And you know who hired him? Boone Cutler. What?
And
Didn't that asshole die the other day? Or so they say?
had a heart attack yesterday. They suddenly.
Right. He had a heart attack, just like Kevin Hoyt went missing. We'll get into it but guess what? If I listen, I have never told you body doubles. I'm not telling you. Listen, Elvire said Flynn was dead. Jaco told you Trump was dead. You never heard that shit from me, right? Body double bullshit. Think about this. Shit's hitting the fan. I'm moving the pieces. I'm telling you this shit. Hey, listen, we only took down a national Sinaloa cartel across the fucking country. Somebody else tell you about those bastards? Remember Franklin, New Hampshire? And believe me, that podcast is in some serious hands right now. But I'm sorry. So with Elvire now, if you hit the next one.
Yeah. And I don't know this woman's name, but
you know what?
People are going.
She's on a podcast on grassroots. Okay? So now, listen, on Cutler, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, Boone.
I wouldn't trust it if I did the fucking autopsy. You understand? If when people start getting missing or dead suddenly, it's because where it leads to. I can tell you, Butler's a giant link. Kevin Hoyt, the simple little bastard, he is a link. And we're going to show that. So I'm not buying Cutler.
So that woman is connected to Jaco.
Okay. So that woman, let's build that woman. We'll turn around and tell you.
And
we don't need to go back.
I posted about her. She came out like it was recent, more recent than this.
Yes.
And said about Kevin Hoyt.
And what I'll tell you, she simply said, ready? Kevin's missing.
Missing.
Right. Jaco, he's under protection. Hoyt goes to Jaco and that grassroots. That's why he's missing. Because if I'm looking for weak links, I'm looking for Hoyt. Now, you know what this podcaster says? She says he's missing. Oh, and by the way, our own truther podcasters ripped me off.
Yeah.
IRAs and a gold rollover. What? They screwed one of their own. I tell you, they don't have any souls. Now, if you look at the grassroots, right? Who's selling gold? Is that Jaco? Jaco and Hoyt work for Michelle selling wave watches. Could they be selling her gold too? All we know is one of their own on grassroots is telling you she got ripped off with her retirement 401k and it was a scam. Whoa, we get Elvire selling you that, who's CIA. We got them starting to eat their own. Like she's saying, I'm surprised because I'm a truther too, and I'm in the podcast too. We'll see how much difference that makes.
The person was credible. And don't forget, Elvire ran off to Hawaii in hiding.
You better believe it.
I don't know why.
And here's this, boys and girls. Ready? You seen any more Rumble gold ads?
You mentioned that months ago, like maybe 2 months ago at least.
Maybe 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
The gold ads on Rumble, you'd have all the podcasters, and maybe every second line would be a gold ad. Gold, 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 gold. And then nothing. Now, if there was an investigation, you know what you'd shut down first? Advertising to get more gold customers to get screwed.
Right.
Well, turns out it happened. Or Rumble goes, hey, listen, we keep popping this and we haven't investigated, or we know something, like we're working with filthy animals and crooks. This could lead to us. Take them down. Now that's happened. That's one domino. We got Hoyt missing. we got Cutler. The gold. Okay, hit it. So see, now that's what's going on. Okay. Now let's turn around and say, Let's ask AI again. Let's turn around and say, let me see here.
I can't make it much bigger for it's
No, okay, I got this one. All right. So I asked AI, what gold? And let's see what they say. Gold IRAs allow you to hold on physical precious metals in a self-directed IRA or hedge against inflation economy. Funds are rolled over for traditional retirement comes, meaning they can't take your retirement, cash out your retirement to buy hard gold. They roll it over into like gold stocks. That's where you get screwed. That's why you don't have it in your hand. Okay. Now, direct rollover. Now, listen, this isn't about gold and silver being bad investments. I'm not telling you they are at all. I'm just saying you don't do business with them, or you're going to find out that you're going to lose your ass at the worst possible time. That's why I put that thing about the economy in. I know what's coming. Direct rollover funds straight from your old account to a new gold custodian. Custodian. Trust.
paid.
Right.
Part of the
No
fee.
taxes or penalties is done correctly, but dealers often charge, ready? High markups, 20 to 130% above spot price. Remember, I told you, you don't get rich trading gold with proper people. It's pennies on the dollar. But dealers charge high markups. The metals you buy. For example, if gold spot price is 2,500 an ounce, you might pay 3,200 to 5,700. What? How's that? Now, did they tell you that? Did any of these gold tell you that? Indirect rollover. When you receive funds with 20% withheld from taxes, you have 60 days to deposit. Thus, withhold amount of your pocket into the IRAs. Miss the deadline, you face income taxes, a 10% withdrawal penalty up to 59.5%, effectively losing 30 to 50% or more, depending on your tax bracket. You get screwed again, and they ain't telling you that. Upfront costs. Whoa. Dealers often require prepayments for metals storage. What do they store? Your rollover. Right. They store it in their pockets. Fees up to 500 plus annually for storage insurance. But complaints focus on hitting commissions and buyback penalties. When retirees try to sell back to liquidate, dealers offer 30 to 50% below what they paid due to spreads. Spreads, it's only going up and you're getting screwed. Or refusal to buy at market rates. Oh, so I got to turn around. I bought here at 25, now I got to pay 35? Spreads or refusal to buy market. This creates an illusion of a 50% penalty loss through IRS rules prohibit home storage, must use approved depositories. Violators will treat. So, in other words, you keep getting hit, you keep getting fees. And this guy, Phil Gillespie, right? He's got mansions, he's got Ferraris, and he's just selling gold, shitheads. That's it. You know who's the prepayment penalty? They are. They're all getting paid. They make money, you go broke. Oh, geez. Okay. Fiscal. Okay. Podcasters, especially in conservative financial or truth seeker niches, often partner with gold dealers for sponsorships, earning commissions per rollover. This creates an aggressive promotion. Oh, you think they're selling the shit out of this? But many deals are affiliate based, where the podcast is represented, a sales rep pushes high commission products. High commission is right, and they keep getting them on Rumble. These ads surge during the economic fears, which is exactly why this is so dangerous now. You're thinking gold's the right move, and I'm not telling you it's not, but it's not through these people, and it's not rollover into all these costs and penalties that aren't said to you up front. conservative media ads, we're special metal. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Even though that Rumble, it uses promote ads on our gold guy or variety mail, leading to rollovers up to 40 to 50% effective losses in markups. Podcaster Nick Elvire, March of 24, still circulating, calls out Goldco for reducing retirees' savings up to 50%. Well, that's what we just showed you, right? AI picked it up. How's that? Rumble's our gold guy, Reagan. Why podcasters? All right. Why use pod? They build trust with audience worried about the system, bank collapses, inflation. Yet they don't know shit about any of the economy. I was only doing it 35 years, and was Fannie Mae was getting my directions, which is why I know we're screwed now. Goldco aim 50% vacancy, fears of rollovers, but regulators note that these ads omit risk, leading to complaints. Right. These ads, these podcasters don't tell you the risk. They're
Um,
even AI's telling you this.
I just want to say something real quick. Patriot Underground. Remember, I said recently, and I'm going to say April this year, he switched from Goldco to, I see it here, and I didn't realize it said this. It's blurry, but Verity Metals is what he switched to. Now you've got here the gripes. Now this is AI, but it says the Verity Metals are leading to rollovers with 40 to 50% effective losses via the markups. So
Right.
he went from one bad company to another bad
You
company.
know who was the other bad company? I was trying to do this on Michelle's show. She wouldn't do it. And I was doing gold to warn people. Patriot Underground Gold Company.
Yeah,
I
that
work
was
with my
Goldco,
partners.
but it was Goldco.
Right, but he's calling it his. He must
Right,
have had some contractual deal with them. And when
right.
they changed, one might be in trouble. And when you start to go sink down, they switch to another vendor. Listen, this guy is CIA. And who was connected? Where did he connect to? Gene Decode, Terry Cassidy, Michelle Moore. So, in other words, this is who they were. And this goes back to the grassroots and Jaco and that whole network.
Right.
So, listen, and this is going to, so when you think, not only do you need this money at the worst of time, but you're going to find out at the worst of time that you lost that money. So rather than thinking you even made that much, you're going to find out they stole half your money, half your retirement. Remember when I got into doing this? When they stole the retirements of the elderly on that FRM scam. You've seen me in hearings. You see me call them out. These people that stole their money. It was the banking commission. It was Bill Shaheen. It opened the door to the Pandora's box and the laundering network of this country. That one move. So you don't forget we're dominoes. I took that domino and we're here. Okay, hit it, Crash.
Okay, you had one more with that last AI, and that was it. Now I wanted to say something though. We talked about.
I'm good with AI. I'm struggling
You're
reading it.
done with it? Okay, that
Yeah.
was your last. I didn't know if you needed. Okay, then we're done. But I wanted to say we were talking about now. Let's say okay, these gold companies make it so unattractive to pull out your 401k because all these penalties and stuff. But what if people did and they took the loss? I don't believe they'd have the gold to supply.
Oh, they don't.
I don't
Oh,
believe
they
they would.
don't. See, that's why it's in stock form. See, the penalties if you cash it out. No penalties if you roll over. Now,
Right.
if you roll over to them, they're saying, well, there's the bait. No penalties. We get you. And then you try to go out, roll over. Then you get taxed. They're not telling you. Then you get the prepayment penalties. They hammer half your dough.
Right.
There it is. So I'm telling you, that's in motion. Their own podcaster was a victim in that grassroots as Kevin Hoyt goes missing. You see, that's what gold's going to open a door to these podcasters. Remember I kept saying contagion. And I also use this word, low hanging fruit. It's like I used to call script creep a low hanging fruit. Well, they're all low hanging fruit, these podcast bastards. All the ones selling gold, they're all in trouble. They're all in trouble. And you know what Flynn and the CIA does? We got to pull out of this. Remember, Flynn goes, I don't know these podcasters. And they call themselves the Flynn Network. What did
Right.
Elvira go? Gold? What gold? Gold's bad. They're stealing your money. Flynn and the CIA is taking a slow boat out. Elvira's out. And they're going to lift these dimwits, which is why I think Harry Cassidy's turning on a few of them. Why Jaco's shitting his pants. You want who's hiding Kevin Hoyt? Jaco, because Hoyt gives you Jaco. And
Yeah.
Jaco gives you Michelle Moore. Okay, Crush, hit it.
There is no more. That's all your images. Unless you didn't send me things.
Well, we had so much fun. It just went so fast.
The time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. So we're setting this up because I know what's happening with this economy. That's why all the trigger points, they're not telling you. The fact that we're bankrupt, they're not telling you. I've seen this with the elderly in retirements getting wiped out. You know what's funny? There's a video of me on Gronk radio. And you hear me say, I had to buy teeth for these people, as I can't afford to buy my own fucking tooth. But my point being is, I've seen the results of these people. We had 3 suicides in a month when they lose everything. And you know what they said? They just wanted to keep their dignity, and they took that away. That was one Ponzi scheme in a small state that opened the door to a nightmare. But this is across this country. There's millions of you who have listened to these people and are being set up for a disaster. They are going to achieve a wealth that they can't believe. And think about, what did they do with their money? Oh, I know. They were selling you XRP. That's what Elvira was doing. They were selling you Bitcoin. I don't know. Do we have that Bitcoin with Ariel with the Trump thing? I don't know. I think I sent that to you.
You didn't
Okay.
send it.
But we've got Ariel sharing a golden Trump holding a Bitcoin. They're all going to cash out because the race was rigged. They knew who was going to win. They were crashing this economy and not telling you. Musk would go, you're bankrupt. You're whistling by the graveyard, and then run away. You know, Trump's in Epstein file, and then he runs away. He knew what was going to happen. So in other words, all of that's going to come home to roost. Your housing, and then your retirement. You lose the equity in your house. Now say this, ready? You lose your job. You've got $300,000 in equity, and you've got your retirement. They hit you for half of your gold and your equity. How do you refinance and pull the equity out if your credit went to put? You don't have a job, you don't have income. That's trapped equity. I know. You got to sell it to get it, right? And so does everybody else exactly at the same time. That's a crashing market. That's catching a fallen knife. You know, if you think that Fannie Mae doesn't realize that, you know what they throw into all these loans and appraisers? Declining market value, 5%, 10%, and they tell the appraiser, you better come in low. And then they zap that. Most of you will not be able to refinance. Most of those equities will be trapped. You'll be into selling your house in a complete downfall. I've seen 2008. I was there 94, and I was doing TV commercials. I'm wondering if you can still pull those of the year and 2 years before that. So in other words, it wasn't that I missed it. I had it and hid it and told everybody. And that's how I got the Ponzi scheme in 2008. This is 100 times worse. It's across the board, and it's intentional. So when Trump gets in and says, I'm not taking a salary of what, 500, $1 million, but I'm going to make billions on fucking Bitcoin.
He doesn't need a salary if he's doing that.
Right. That's why he was forcing Powell to cut the rates. What happened when they cut the rates? They went up. How'd that work out? Why did I tell you they were going to go up? Because you're a bad credit risk, and borrowers are going to turn around and say, hey, let's return higher risk. What does that make sense? Right. It doesn't. They were all lying to you, all of it. So in the worst of times, you won't be able to reach your equity, and you'll be losing half your retirement. I mean, if that's not devastation, and if you think prices are going down, here's the indicator. You see oil going down. That's right. Oil will go down in a recession. Why? You don't have shipping. You don't have trucking. You don't have the equipment and manufacturing. That's a sign. Boom, there's another sign. Listen, I'm not prophesizing. I'm telling you, I'm doing it for 35 years and became rich and wealthy doing it from being accurate. Accurate by reading and forecasting all the elements that you don't see. Did you know that we had the worst credit decline since 1929, the Great Recession? Do you know what happened in the Great Recession? You know what? As the older I get, the least people know about the past. And listen, I wasn't born there either, shitheads. But you should know history. You know what they say? If you don't know history, it repeats
Repeats
itself.
itself. Yeah.
And it's going to repeat. Listen, they jumped off of buildings. They lost their homes. There was soup lines and bread lines, by the government. But guess what? The soup and bread lines, the government's broke. You know those soup lines? They're the people they're cutting. Social Security, listen, Medicaid and so forth, real help with people, not the Medicaid theft of drug cartels that we showed you plugged into hospitals and treatment centers. That's how they drained you. All these lobbyists, right? They were all selling senators and congressmen something all the time that's against your best wishes, working with foreign governments, which is why you're broke. So when we say this, ready? It's this simple. Must too. Audit the Senate and the Congress, investigate each one singularly, investigate and audit each one. You're gonna find they're all fucking dirty. I mean, we got Rubio praying on the Wailing Wall the other day. Can we get Israel out of our shit? You don't think this is all blackmail and extortion? What do you think is in the Epstein files? Why do you think that O'Keefe intercepted me? Flynn intercepted me. The DOJ intercepted me. Why? They are the blackmailers. That is foreign intelligence. And they work with the DOJ. Trump is compromised by not opening the Pandora's box. Of course he's in it. And you know what? Do you think the Mossad knows? You're damn right. You think Putin knows? You're damn right. Meaning Putin can leverage Trump? Hey, listen, are we out of the Ukrainian war? No.
No.
How about the Ukraine? I mean, how about with Israel? Did we just bomb Iran? Wasn't these the things that Trump said? I'm going to get you out of this. We're not going to another war. And bang, bang. You know who that was? The DOJ. Remember the brokered convention that Michelle was sending me to Arizona to get smoked by? It wasn't going to be the Sinaloa cartel. They were going to make it look like that. But when they sent me over there, it was still Sununu and Haley. The military industrial complex in Bush. That was the switch. So I'm saying exactly that. We stopped that broker convention. I stopped that broker convention. You're gonna look at that, and there are tapes. Nobody's telling you there wasn't tape. And that piece of shit, Tuckeroni, is running for what?
Mayor.
The mayor. Think about this. You don't think that asshole might have a little blackmail on that tape, do you? So in other words, this criminal, who getting called off, we're working with Klein and working with Elvira, gets it dragged out of back of police cars for selling sovereignty bullshit, is the mayor of fucking Munchkin Land now. Running for. Are you kidding me? That's blackmail and extortion. That's why Trump's in check. And who's doing it? The DOJ. What did I tell you? Always the DOJ. Who protected all these podcasters that were stealing you, ripping you off for years and lying to you? The DOJ. The DOJ, the CIA answers to them, as do foreign assets, as do foreign intelligence, such as the Mossad. Who's protecting O'Keefe? That's who's protecting O'Keefe. Who ran into me? Flynn, the DIA and the CIA intercepted me. O'Keefe, Mossad, and the DOJ that handles them both. Am I missing something? And listen, the DOJ and the U.S. attorney only sent the evidence to AG Barr. Of course it is. It's all interrelated. And listen, I'm giving you a way to win. Win is you take your money back. That's the Pandora's box. You pay off our debt. There goes the inflation. And when you get into the box, you get to see who stole your money. See? So we can win.
Trump isn't
And
open to that.
right. And it's what do they say? Numbers don't lie. It is the path. And that's why they intercepted me. Listen, they intercepted me before the brokered convention and the confessions of Liz Harris, and Shelby Bush, who called them CIA. These assholes, these podcasters. They even went on further about Vandersteel and the meeting in the Trump International Hotel in Washington. That was Bush. And Bush gets 700 from Patrick Burns.
Yeah.
Tina Peters gets 700 too. And that's why Tina Peters and Trump's going to let her go. Because you get Flynn, you get the insurrection plan headed by the DOJ. You see, Michelle Moore gets you Flynn, gets you the CIA. Could somebody ask her, please? How did she know that Elvire was a CIA asset? Question mark. The day before.
How does Ariel know?
Well, there's my next question. How does she know that Ariel knows?
Right.
Now, she would only know if Ariel knows, if Ariel told her or the CIA.
Right.
How would she know about Elvire? And she says, I have proof.
Right.
Did she show you the proof? You know what that was? That's how important I am to these animals, to be followed. Just as I said, I can't do that. She's saying, okay, wait a minute. And this was like the next day. And Crash and Dee could testify to that, oh, I found it. He's CIA asset and Ariel knows.
Right. It was right away.
Right. She went over the top because they needed me back. That's who was listening to my phone. That was giving up my location. That was keeping my broke. All those people sent me money, and thank you. And thank you again for helping me. Listen, I'm only asking to survive. No doctors, no dentists.
You know what? You didn't tell people the truth about that yet. Not that you're lying, but Michelle opened all those envelopes.
That's what I was getting to.
Okay.
Right, you're right.
Before you say that, real quick on Tina Peters, I think, this is just my opinion, there's lawsuits open yet with Sidney Powell, Lindell, and Patrick Byrne, and that's the Dominion or the Dominion lawsuits. I think they're going to coordinate. When I think, because we keep thinking Tina Peters is going to get off, but I think that's going to start coordinating once those court with the hearings with Patrick Byrne and all them. I think that's when that'll all coordinate, and then she'll get left off and they'll all get a free pass, is what I'm thinking.
They're all going to get off. Why? Because they were all working for the DOJ. Peters is saying, hey, I'm the only one going to jail. I'm going to tell them I'm working for you. That's why Peters got to go.
Right. They're all going to use it against each other. Right.
They're loose ends. And that also leads to that. I'm sorry. Where was it?
Michelle, the envelopes. We didn't ever
tell people. So the people who sent me letters and helping me with funds, Michelle Moore opened every letter. Now, some of the letters, the covers would come to her. The letters that you sent me were in those. Every single one was open. You know what? She couldn't have anybody reach out to me. Like a family member, maybe. My children are watched. You don't think they're witnesses? They've been sat on for these years. They can't have them contact me. Michelle was making sure that didn't happen, or anybody else. And the thing with money, why I had to be broke, remember I had to move that hotel into a dangerous place for $6 a day. You know what? She was taking money out. We know she did with silver.
Right.
And she was reading every letter. Listen, that's mail fraud, by the way. Those were sealed and addressed to me. So this is deeper than you put, but that's what the CIA would do. Who's he communicating with? Who am I talking to? Listen, this is the isolation way. Think about this. All these interferences, all these blocks and so forth, these people, it tells you what I have and the importance of what I have. See, now we find out we're one step away from the cartel. All we got to say is the magic word is Anagos, the American cartel, Planet Fitness, and listen, Grendel's hanging around. You know when he disappeared? In April, just when this shit started coming down with the Sinaloa cartel. He knew then the plan. That's why he went stupid and quiet. That's why I was supposed to be murdered. That's why all those moles that we wiped out in a day. And think about it. Were they moles? A couple of them trying to find my location to get smoked that loved us. That's who they were, and that's who they are. And that's the importance of what I have here. Now, that thing with Anagos gets inside the DOJ and the protection. Anagos is laundering money in those casinos into those LLCs, the largest real estate holder in the state, over 2,000 residential commercial fucking units. And he's a moron. I mean, he's been getting arrested for drugs since the fucking 8th grade. But he's in the laundering network. That's why a lot of these casinos, they've got to separate them. Because you know what you get? The cartels feel safe when they're laundering in the same network as presidents, as senators and congressmen, like Senator Shaheen, who suddenly resigns. You see? It's all in line. It's all connected. It's all the nature of what's happening in this country. And listen, a broke America is dangerous because you're enemies and you have them now, and you're making them more. And Israel holds you harder and higher by that blackmail and extortion. You're vulnerable military-wise. Do you know the money from Pandora's Papers that tracked into New Hampshire, the 935? That's more money than you pay for all your military and building them. You're weakened financially. You can't build a military that will protect this country. We're falling into a dangerous situation, and they're crashing the dollar and then selling you pretend money, then taking your money on the back end of your retirements, crashing the real estate market. And again, the wealth of this world does that. That's your stock market. 99% of that stock market that hitting record highs is not you. You said, well, I've got this much money. It's piss. They got all the money. That's what's buying everybody. But we can take it back and just think, not just from all the criminals and the cartels that hiding their money in there. What about healthcare, pharmaceutical, big banks? You don't think big banks are into this money laundering? Of course they are. All of it. It is not only it gets your money back, but a pipeline to everybody that's been stealing from you. And this Bitcoins and all there, you're going to see what was behind it. It was a plan to break you. And lastly, about this Kirk thing, they're saying it's the far left, the extremes left. No, I'm not telling you we don't have that. We've created that. We made them extreme. Franklin is the minister of retribution. And he's talking about public hangings. Jacob is saying, I'd hang him, recover him, hang him again, and keep doing it. I don't know. Is that a little extreme to you?
Right.
So extreme right. And they were all lying. Here you go, boys and girls. There's no right, there's no left. They're all fucking corrupt. These senators and congressmen, when have you seen the Democrats screaming, open Pandora's box, and they know Bill Gates is in there. They know Bill Clinton's in there. But they're also saving their own booties by getting out, because Trump's pressuring them. At the same time, they're saying, open it. When have you ever agreed with these Democrats on anything? But you agree on that. When are they the voice of reason? I mean, are we buying Patel's googly eye act and Bongino? Are you kidding me? We've got cartoon characters running the FBI. They're not running the FBI, just like Biden wasn't the president. It's the fucking DOJ. And you know what? Trump brings his personal attorney to interview Maxwell. What? So And Bondi was only connected to
Epstein.
Epstein in Florida. She was the U.S. attorney. She was the AG. The U.S. attorney was Acosta, who Trump made. Was it the
I forget.
secretary? Was he the health secretary, labor secretary? Big
Labor, I think.
cabinet job. In fact, do you know what Maxwell said to Blanche? Oh, there's members of Trump cabinet that were on Epstein Island. Wow, was Acosta on Epstein Island? And listen, Robert Kennedy said he was on Epstein's plane a couple times. He is part of this cabinet. Why shouldn't we know that answer? You know what? The question then was from Blanche on that. Nothing. He didn't say the simple word who.
Who? Yeah. Tell us who.
Right. He goes, is there an owl?
Yeah.
Right. So it is all interrelated. You get Michelle, you get Flynn in the CIA, you get the gold scams, you get why she knows about Ariel, why she knows about
Al-
LV. Suddenly, after I told her who they were, the next day she goes, "Oh, I've got proof now." And when I said 98%, I was referring to CIA, and she knows it. Listen, you know who reminds me of Michelle Moore? That's Stacy Burke. You want two spinning son of a bitches? There you go. And you know what that is? Trained. Burke goes back to Flynn and Ketchel. Chrissa Ketchel taking my evidence on the day they were taking it, and Sidney Powell, direct contact. It's all related, folks. I'm pulling in the pieces. I'm trying to show you how this is. We moved to the cartel, and now the Sinaloa cartel's busted. And we gave you that before they arrested anybody. Boom. That's DOJ. Now that's why they got me smoked. Now, Tina Peters, I go to Tina Peters. She was talking to me. And then all of a sudden, that broker convention, and my December 18th text messages for 3 weeks of emails with Flynn in the insurrection, I got you front and back. And the same insurrection team working for the DOJ was working with DOJ to take out Trump in the election. Not that he's a beauty. And my hope was that he wouldn't be able, I didn't know he was in the Epstein files. So I'm thinking, not that I'm saying, listen, I was the one that said Trump would take a deal. You think he did?
Seems like something's going on.
You bet your ass. And it's always the DOJ. So we are there. So if you find out that these podcasters were the force behind this insurrection in J6, they were the gatherers. They were gathering you, inciting you, and you went and they set you up. So in other words, these podcasters, and in the meantime, they all got rich. What are they saying? Election fraud. You found out that it was fake. Listen, would these guys cheat? They all would. You want election fraud? I got you. Remember the Secretary of State Gardner? You see me where they whited out my name on the voter registration. They turned around and took me off the ballot and lied that I could be on the ballot still that day. It was all lies. It was all recorded. So yes, Virginia, they do have election fraud. And you know what? It's the perfect warm. Hey, gold is a good idea, just not through them. Election fraud? Yes, it does happen. Not this fucking time. Not with those people. They knew what you were sensitive to. Trump lose, you'd lose your shit. And you did. And then all the Aons and all the decoders all rose up from the fucking ashes. They all got rich. Morons, one after another. But they're going to do it again. And look at the crash now. You don't think Flynn's running around with his army there going, when this crash, right? We're all going to be rich, by the way. Right. Bitcoin, yeah. We're going to set them on fire again. And when you're broke and they stole the wealth of this country and you're suffering and having a hard time even feeding your family, you're going to want answers. Well, I'm just giving them to you now. You can get your ass out of this trouble. All you got to do is get off your ass. How about this? Share this podcast. Send it to as many people as possible. Send it to the media as possible. I'll talk to Satan at this point. Everyone, because believe me, there ain't many good ones.
Half the people on Twitter that you talk to are Satan or a demon from Satan.
Yes. I mean, listen. I'm rough around the edges. I'm in a fight all the time with the worst people of this world. Motorcycle gangs, drug cartels, politicians, judges. Who the fuck am I missing? I went after all of them because that's who they are. I spent a lifetime protecting the weak, and it was a lifetime job. And it was a job that had no end. And I get it. And we're here, and you're going to know that somebody told you the truth. Ask yourself in 20 years, right? We just read over Mark Taylor's prophecies. What did I tell you that was wrong? Those years ago, what did I tell you? IRS and money laundering. The DOJ was running it. The FBI. I took a camera to show you, even while they were trying to murder my ass. And then we'd videotape the fucking murderers. You see? You were told. And they tried to buy me. That 50 million settlement and the hundreds of millions that I had, you didn't think they had leverage? Why do you think no one else comes to save you? There's talented, wealthy people out there. Where are they? Think about this. If there is a following, I pray for strength and wisdom. They put me in the horse racing business to find money laundering and face fixing through the casinos. They put me in the mortgage business and I find the largest Ponzi scheme and the money laundering network of the deep state. They put me in the podcast world. I find Flynn again and a bunch of corruption. I mean, if it wasn't me, who? And if it wasn't putting me in each and every spot that I can give you by opening state of corruption with the cartel. And who gave me the cartel? James O'Keefe and the Mossad with Aaron Day. Why? They needed to leverage control of the Pandora's box that was Shaheen. Listen, they're both evil. The Democrats with Shaheen ran the box. Sununu wanted the box. O'Keefe traded them. And who runs the state? A bunch of fucking libertarians. Who are all these moles? Libertarians from New Hampshire. I'll leave this. When it doesn't make sense, it's looking in the wrong direction. It always makes sense. So when you catch yourself, boy, that don't make sense, figure it out. It means you're wrong in where you're thinking. When does this not make sense? Now, when I told you the economy was crashing, when I told you cutting rates was going to have a negative effect, here we are, folks. Did anybody say that to you? And again, Jesus didn't tell me. 35 years of understanding the market and seeing all these warning signs. Catching a Ponzi scheme is the same catching these gold people. CIA pulling out with Elvira, the same thing with Flynn separating them. That's when you get closer to the DOJ. Boom. That's the one step. Anagos gets us right into the DOJ. He's on the doorstep. That's why they took out the Sinaloa cartel. Watch what happens when they say Planet Fitness to you. Remember, Grendel stayed at the party for a payoff. The payoff is $800 million in Planet Fitness. How does he get it back? You kick out the Sinaloa cartel. So Anaga, which is why all those people around him was looking for my address. And even still, the next time you ask for my address, by the way, Patricia, I'm going to post your address. Okay? All right, Crash.
All right. Well, that sounds. We hope she doesn't ask for your address then.
I hope she does.
All right.
I'm not where they think I am. That's all I'll say.
I know.
I know where her fat ass is.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Crash.
All right. See ya. Bye.